Thank you for joining our today's session. In our last session in the module 1, we learned about the basic introduction about Python. And today, let's learn about the variables, data types, and the comments in Python. So let's first understand what is a variable. Let's understand what is a variable. A variable is a memory location where you store a value, right? So this is what the basic thing you all need to understand. This is common across all programming languages, right? Let's take a simple example. We have details about a student. Maybe a student's first name, last name, date of birth, age, height, and whether it's a new student or an existing student, and the student hobbies, and what are the marks scored. So these are all the few variables which will define a student. All right. So in this variable, what you are doing, you are storing a value. What is the value? You are storing the first name as Andrew and Johnson as last name, and then 3rd September 2007 as the date of birth. Right. So these are all called values. Right. And on the left side, whatever you have, these are called as variables. That means this variable name is a common memory location where it holds the name of the student, right? And if you look at it here, you will find different data types also. For example, name, you will be using it as a string, right? The string is nothing but as a text, right? So you'll only have alphabetics when you're in your name. And if you look at it, the date, it is a date. Okay. So we will learn more about date object in the future modules. Okay. And then if you look at age you are giving it as integer. And if you look at height, you are giving it as float, or we call it a decimal value, right? So you look, otherwise it is called as float. And then the student, whether it's a new student, yes or no, only the option you will be having it here. So that is where it is a Boolean data type, right? And then if you look at it here, the hobbies of the student may be dancing, painting, reading. So multiple values it is holding. So that means you have a list of values for that. So we'll be using the list type. And then the marks scored by the student in different subject. So here if you look at it, English 80, maths 90, science 85. So this is what we'll be doing. It is like a dictionary. Okay. Don't worry, we will be learning about all these data types in the future. But at this point of time, you just understand what is a variable. So variable is a memory location where you store a value, right? Hope you are able to follow me, right? So, and when we say variable, so we need to declare the variables in any programming language. Okay, the act of specifying the type and name of the variable without necessarily assigning it a value immediately. For example, I may specify string and I give the name of it. I may specify the integer type, age, the variable name. I'm just creating it here. Okay. So interestingly, in Python, you will not explicitly declare variables with type in this manner, whatever I'm just specifying it here. So the Python is a dynamically typed, meaning you don't need to declare the type of variable before assigning a value to it. What does it mean by that? Okay. So for example, here, if you look at it, name, I'm just giving it as John, age 20, I'm just giving it here. Okay. I'm not even declaring. Okay. I can just straight away, I can start using it, the name, John. And so here, I don't have to specify whether it is string or not. the Python will automatically understand what is the type of it. Okay, so that's why in Python we generally do not use the term declaration in the same sense as the statically typed languages like Java or any other languages. Okay, so I mean then you might be just having a question. So what is the statistically typed language and what is dynamically typed language, right? That is the question will come to you. Just hold on your question here. Okay, so we will just quickly go through that. And here, the next one, what we have is about a variable definition, right? Here, if you look at it, the act of assigning a value to a variable using the assignment operator, that is called variable definition. That means you have a variable, you use an assignment operator that is nothing but equal to, and then you define that variable like John, or here if you like the age 20. That's how we are doing it here. By now it's very clear to you what is a variable declaration and what is variable definition and how it is being used in Python, right? Let's quickly understand. I'm just slowly introducing to you how to make use of ChatGPT so that you will also get used to that. Whenever you get any doubt, you yourself make use of ChatGPT and then the doubts get clarified. Of course, still if you have doubt, you can always reach out to me. Okay, we will help you that. Okay, so let's quickly try it in ChatGPT. So you'll be giving the prompt to the ChatGPT like compare static and dynamic programming languages in a tabular form. Okay, that's what I'm just giving it here. Let me just quickly go to that ChatGPT. And those who are totally new to ChatGPT, I strongly recommend you to go through the video which I sent it. Which is made as part of the module one. Okay, I'm just assuming that you are aware of it, so I'm just straight away going to that. So let me go to my ChatGPT. Okay, so this is the prompt, you are getting it here now, right? Okay, so in this prompt, what you do, you copy this text. Okay, so just go there and then put that message. Compare static and dynamic programming languages in a tabular form. You just put it to ChatGPT and then just simply run. So here, if you look at it here, the static programming language and dynamic programming languages, you can see the language where variable types are determined at the compile time. Okay, that means before compilation itself will be doing that. And languages where variable types are determined at runtime. Only at the runtime you know what is uh, the variable type is. Okay, because you are not defining it beforehand. And the type checking you will be doing only at just before the compiling itself, but here it will be doing done at the running time itself. That's why it is called dynamic, right? So typical languages you see C, C++, Java, Rust, and Go languages. But whereas if you see here Python, JavaScript, Ruby, PHP, and all follow the dynamic programming part. Okay. So if you look at it here, the speed generally faster due to early type checking, and optimization during compilation. Whereas since you are just checking at the runtime and real time, so it is being the checking will be done at the runtime itself. Because compiling time means you are before even running, you will be compiling the program. So it is one-time compilation, then automatically takes care of how many number of time. But here, if you look at it, the check will happen every time. Okay, so like this, you can find out the different the comparisons and what are all the differences between the static programming language and the dynamic programming language. Okay, I mean, I suggest you to again go through this in detail, so it will be of very much useful to you during your interviews as well. Okay, okay. Now let's quickly get into the next thing. So now let's go through the data types. So in data types, we have strings, numbers. Within in numbers also we have integer. I mean integer you all know, right? It is a whole number. And then float. In other words, it's a decimal numbers. And then you have Boolean, and Boolean is nothing but yes or no, or true or false. That's what you'll be getting it, right? And then the complex numbers also you will be having it here. What is a complex number? I'll just demonstrate you with an example. Okay. Then also the Python has collections, objects like list, tuple, set, and dictionary also. Okay. And also there is some interesting thing about range, which can dynamically help you to create list instead of writing all the items. We will see with an example so that we'll be able to understand that. Okay. But in today's in this module, we'll be predominantly learning about strings, numbers, okay, so that you'll have a basic idea about that. And in the next module, we will learn about the collection range, okay. So let's look at this example here. The typically string, for example, you have a variable called x, and then you are assigning the value called my country. Okay, that's what you are doing it here. Then what you are doing, print x. So when you say print value of x, and it will gives you the value my country, and then print type of x. Just you was type of x. I mean this is very important. This is called typecasting. Okay, I mean sorry. It will just show that what is the type of the variable. Okay, and when you say print type of x means what, I mean, what is the type of variable it will print. Okay, for example, in this case it is showing a string. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just quickly open up our Python ideally, which we installed yesterday, I mean in the last module, right? So we will just take that one, and then we will practice it directly so that it will be easy for you to understand the concepts here. Okay, so you all know that you need to go to your start programs, and then you go to your Python, right? And this is what the Python installation that was done in the last module, right? And you just open up your ideally. Okay, I'm just clicking it here. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the window to suit my requirement. Okay, so now what we will do is, so the string example we have it here, right? So I will just quickly I'll keep this window side by side so it will be easy for you to check and do that. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just the strip also I just remove that. Okay, now you can see it here completely. Okay, so now let me just copy this x equal to my country. Just go here and then just simply type it here. Okay, now let me just enter. Now what I need to do, print x. I'm just copying it here and then putting it here. Okay, now when I print x, it will be my country. This is what the output I'm getting it here. All right. Now I just want to know what is the type of x. Just print type of x. So print type of x. I'm just giving it here. So when I just give it here, you can see it here. It is returning the value string str string. It is giving it right. That's how you'll be knowing because as you know, the Python we are not declaring what is the variable type in the beginning itself, right? So based on the value that you are assigning it, you are just getting the type of value. Okay. So now let's take the numbers now. As we discussed, numbers have integers. Okay. So the integers, there's nothing but the whole numbers. So you will be having both positive values and also negative values, and including zero also will be included, right? So now let's quickly try this. Okay, x equal to 10. Okay, so you see I'm not declared stating that the variable, I mean string, sorry, I mean integer equal to x. I'm not declaring that. I'm just simply putting x equal to 10. I'm just doing it here. Okay, and then I'm just saying print. I'm just copying print from here itself. Print, and you can see it here. It is printing 10. Now I'm just saying print the type of x. You see it here. Now earlier the x value is string. Now because I assigned a value of, I mean the integer value, so now you see it is changed to integer, right? That is why it is called dynamic, because the same x variable, based on the value that is getting assigned, it will be keep changing that type. All right. So okay. Now let's take. I mean, needless to say, in I mean mathematically x0 also considered to be, when I say now print x, the value will be 0, and then the type of x, if I see it here, it will be integer. And the same way you can just try x equal to, I mean -4, that's the negative value. All right, I'm just saying it here print type. So even this is also integer only, right? So you'll be just seeing it here integer. All right. The same way, now let's look at the float. So float, if you look at what is that you are finding it here, and so float is nothing but with decimal values, right? I'm just having decimal values here at 10.25. But if you interestingly see it here, here if I give 0.00, it is treated as float now. Okay, earlier it is integer, but even though both are having the same value, but because I'm just having decimals here, it is treated as float. So we will see that now. Okay, I'm just copying it here now. Now you look at it. I'm just straight away going to the typecast so it will be easy for you to understand. You see it here, it is coming as float. And suppose if I put the same thing, x equal to, and then now again I put the typecast. You see, now it has become float. Alright. So that's how, and even needless to say, I mean minus 25.6 also will be float only, right? So now quickly let's look into the Boolean part. So Boolean is nothing but it will only return whether it is true or false. Okay. So now for example, I just have a x value. Okay. Now I'm just giving x equal to whether 10 is greater than 8 or not. Okay. You all know that. I mean 10 is greater than 8, right? It is true. So since it is true, so when I think if we're printing x, now when I say print x, you see the value it is returning is true. Okay, and what is the type? Now I need to check it, right? So if I check it here, you see it here, it is saying bool. So that means it is Boolean type. Okay. Now let's quickly do the other way. False also. Let's try it here. I'm just giving instead of x greater than 10. I'm just put it here. Whether 10 less than 8, whether I'm just checking it here. So it should return now what? False. Let's try that. Are you able to see it? Now returning false. Okay. So this is Boolean check. I mean, now that you are learning this basic, whether it is true or false, you are learning that. Okay. But this will be how it will be used where in the subsequent modules you'll be learning that. Okay. And then the last one is about the complex numbers. Okay, let's quickly learn about what is complex numbers. I think some of you all know in your basic mathematics what you learned. So the j is nothing but it's an imaginary number. So what is that imaginary number? It is nothing but it is the square root of -1. That is nothing but j, that it is mathematically represented, right? So even that complex numbers also can be used here. I'm just putting it here x equal to 20j. Okay. Now I'm just asking it to print now. So let's say print. it will be returning the same value only 20j. Okay, but what is the type of it? I just want to put it here now. You can see the type, it is a complex because you are using j here. So j is nothing but the imaginary number, which is nothing but square root of -1. Okay, so now let me, this is also imaginary number because we are just adding to that an imaginary number to a normal number also, it will be treated as imaginary. So let's look into that now. So when it's printing, you can see, and also I mean if you look at the type of it, right, still it is showing complex number. Okay, so this is the I mean the different data types, especially what we have seen, the string and numbers. Okay, so let's try to see some more operations which you can do with the string. Let's get into that. You can always save these files, whatever you are working. Just simply go to file, you just say save as, and I strongly recommend you to create a separate folder either in your D drive or where you are not having your program files. You can just put it there and in your D drive or any other drive which is comfortable, and create a specific folder called Python programming or Python learning as one folder, and inside that you can save the file so that you can just refer in future as well. Okay, and as a whatever you have practiced, you can refresh them when you want to review them again. Okay, so now let me open up a new file now. Okay, before that let's quickly understand this here. So here if you look at it, a string can be mentioned inside a single quote or double quote, right? And also we already discussed that there is no need for declaring the variable type in Python like other languages also, which we have already seen. Okay. Now let's take a simple example. The first name is Johnson and last name is Andrew. Okay. And then we will try to see different operations what we can do here. Okay. So now let me take a simple example of this. Okay. Let me open up the IDE again. Okay, so now let me again minimize the size so that it can have a bigger area. Okay, so now let's copy first name here, and I mean I just want to mention to you that you don't have to type all these things. All these training materials will be made available to you. Okay, you can reach out to me. We'll send it to you through your email ID. Okay, and all that you need to do is simply take that material and then copy and paste so that you don't have to waste your time in typing them. Okay, all that you need to understand the concept, right? That's more important. Okay, I'm just giving first name is Johnson now and then last name is Andrew. You can see the difference here. Okay, the first one I'm just giving double quotes, and the second one single quote, right? Right. So this is what you'll be doing it here. Right. Now let us see print first name. Okay, so both should be working, right? We just see it here. It's Johnson is coming here. And then now let's print out last name. So now this is also coming, Andrews, right? That means in Python, whether you give single quote or double quote, both will work. But only thing is, if you are, I mean, but we should not be using, for example, in the last name. Okay, let me just do it here. Not use double quote here and then single quote here. Okay, then this will not work because you are not following a proper syntax. Okay, so this is an error, you will be getting it here. Okay, I hope you are able to follow me. Okay, so now let's get into the different how, I mean there are times you wanted to have both first name and last name to be a single uh, line to display, right? So that means nothing but I'm just going to add both the text. So nothing but we call it as concatenation, right? So now, for example, look at it here. I'm just using the first variable name, first name. Okay. Then what I'm doing, I'm just simply putting plus to that. That means plus when I'm doing that, I'm just adding to it. And then also I'm just giving a empty string. I'm just adding that empty string, and then again I'm just put plus, and then last name I'm just giving it here. So by this way, what happens you see here, Johnson space Andrew. That's what you are seeing it here, because the space was given by you here, right? That's the one way of concatenating it. Okay, there is one more way of, suppose you just wanted to introduce an hyphen here. Okay, let us do that as well. Okay. Now, if you see it here, I just want to introduce an hyphen. So I, instead of empty space, but I just am using a double quote also, you can see it here. Right? You all know that in Python, whether single quote or double quote, it is one and the same. Now if you see it here, we are introducing an hyphen, I mean with a space in before and space after the hyphen, all things were given it, so you are able to print it here. Right? Hope you are able to follow me. And then if you see the last interesting one, okay, so there one more way of doing it. Just I put first name here, and then I'm not using the plus symbol. I'm just only putting a comma. Okay, and then whatever the take, I mean this space which I wanted to use it. So same I'm just taking that also. I'm just putting it here. Again, I'm just putting comma, and then I'm just putting the last name instead of using a plus symbol. Right? This will also return the same thing. Are you getting it here? So these are all the different ways by which you can work with a string. Okay. Now let's go further deep into this subject. So now we will introduce you to the concept of index. Okay, what is that index? In any language, this is very common. But I mean, language to language, more or like whatever you are learning in Python, it will be more or like common in all other languages as well. Okay, but only the few approaches they will be different. Okay, now first before getting to that, let's understand what is index. It means okay. Let me take an example, a variable called x, okay, which is having a text called A, B, C, D, E, F. That is the text which is there in single quote. Okay, this is a string. Okay, what is index here means? So the first letter in here, it starts at the index position of 0. Okay, so in Python programming, every string or every item, anything, if you, I mean, a desktop item or whatever it is, it will be always starting with a position of 0 only. Okay, so that's why I'm just in 0th position, the letter A is available, and the first, then next one, first position B is available, second C is available, 3 D is available. So like that, you'll be seeing it here. Suppose I'm just interested in 0th position, what is the letter that is available? Okay, that means in the variable x, in 0 position, what is available? So that means what I'll do, x of 0, I'm just giving it here. Okay, then what will happen? It will give me the value of a. Suppose if I'm just giving x of 3, then what it should do return? It is returning the value d. Please note it here, the D is the fourth letter, right? A, B, C. It is the fourth letter, but its index position is, we need to 4 minus 1 you need to put, or you always understand the 0, 1, 2, 3. So that means the third position, whatever is available, that will be returned, right? Third index position, okay, not character position, the third index position, that's what you need to remember. Okay, and because this fundamental is very, very important, that's why I'm just keep on repeating it here, because whatever the things you learned in the, I mean, especially the collection objects which you will be learning in the next module, so there also the same concept will be applicable. Okay, So now let's try with a simple example. Okay. So let me declare that x equal to ABCD, right? I'm just putting it here now. Okay. Now if you see, now I just wanted to get x of 3. That means they get the fourth letter. What is the fourth letter? D. What is D? D is in which position? 3. That means to get D, what I need to do? X of 3, I need to put it. Right? So now what I need to do? Print x of 3. Print x of 3. That's what you are just giving it here. Please make a note here. You need to use a square bracket only here. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, it will not work. So now see it here. I'm just getting D. Right. What is x of 3? X of 3 is the third index position. What is the third index position? 0, 1, 2, 3. Third is this. And what is the value of that? D. So that's why it is written the value as D. Right. I hope you are very clear on this, because it's very, very essential to understand the because based on this, there are a lot of other operations will be performing in the subsequent slides. I'll show it to you. Okay. Okay. Now let's quickly get into the next one. And let's take one more bigger example. Like for example, let's take the string x equal to I space love space India. That means I love India. So that's what I'm just putting it here. And then index. I mean, index position we know from 0 we need to start. So I'm just putting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 11. I'm just giving it here, right? Even space is also considered as one character, right? So that's why you'll be just giving the index position of all of them. Okay. So now you are very well clear, right? When I say x of 5, so which one it will be returning? Because 5 is the index position. Then index position 5, what is available? E. So you'll be getting the value as E. All right. That's what you'll be getting it here. And there's one more thing I just wanted to introduce. Here, if you look at it here, it is x equal to, I mean, let me put it in slideshow. Oh, sorry. Okay. So here, x equal to A colon B, I'm just giving it here. That means A is the starting index position and B is the ending index position. Okay. And one thing you need to always understand that if you are giving whatever the value you are giving A, that is included in the string. And whatever the value B you are giving it, that particular item will not be included. That means it is nothing but it is excluded. Okay. I'll just explain it with an example so that you will understand what I mean by here. For example, if I'm just giving it here x equal to 0 colon 4, that means a 0 is included, okay, and the 4 is excluded. Okay, what it mean by that? For example, 0 is where this is 0. Okay, then 4 is here, but the item that the value at 4 is not included. I mean, it is excluded now. That means it will be returning me I space LO. That is the value it will be returning. Okay, that is the meaning of that. Okay, you take another example here. X equal to 4 colon 8. That's what you are saying. That means the starting position is 4. That means 4. This is included. That this value of 4 is included. That means it starts from B. Okay. And where is 8? 8 is here. But this 8 is not included. Okay. That means what? 4, 5, 6, 7. This one only will be shown to you. Okay. I hope you are able to understand that. And this is very, very important one. I'm just again, that's why I'm just putting it here for you to remember always. Because again, whether it is a string or any of the collection objects which we'll be learning later, you'll be finding this principle very, very important so that you don't have to get confused. Okay. And there is one more thing which I just wanted to explain also here. And you can also have the index position, the position of the character from the reverse. Okay, for example, I just wanted to know, from the end of it, I just want to have it And when we say from the end, we'll be having the position like -1, -2, -3, like that. Okay, it will not come from 0, -1, -2, -3. Please remember that when you are coming from the end, it will be always -1, -2, -3. Okay, if you're forwarding it, 0, 1, 2, 3 to come. But if you're coming from the end, it will be -1, -2, -3. But even in this scenario also, okay, now let's, for example, let me take an example. I'm showing it here. 2 colon -2. Okay, when you say 2, which is the one it will come here? And you know now by now 2 is included. That means L also will be, it will start from L. And what is -2? This is -2. So -2 it is nothing but this is the I value, right? So if it is there, this is excluded because we know that this the second value is always excluded. So we are excluding that. That means from B to D, this will be printed. Okay. Okay. I hope you are able to understand this because it's very, very essential for you. And then you will be able to understand this basic is understood. You can very well answer the rest of the exercises most comfortably and correctly. Okay. So let's quickly go to the next thing. We'll try out now a couple of the things with string also. Then we'll come back again. Okay. So let me open the IDLE again. Okay. So now quickly let's go through that now. So now let me put the variable x equal to I love India. Okay, first point. Just putting it here. Now what I do, I just simply say print x. You can see it here now. I love India has come. I just want to make it as a lowercase, right? You just see it here. Sorry, just put a lowercase. You can see it here. Print x lower. You'll be seeing it here. Lower of, I mean x dot lower. That's what you are doing it here. That means x is a variable, and in that variable there is a method called lower is a method. That method you are calling it here. Okay, that's why it is returning all in lowercase. Okay. Similarly, I'm just using print upper. So these are all the predefined methods. Okay, a function that is available inside Python. So that's why you are calling that. All that you need to do is x dot upper. You need to just pass. You will be getting this value. Okay. Now let us say capitalize. Okay. So what we'll be doing? Again, x is nothing but x dot where x is the variable. In that variable, you capitalize all of them. So it's showing the capital value of that. See it here. The first one, it is capitalized that. Okay. And then now title case. Just copy it here. You will just say print x dot title. You are giving it as I told. Title means all the first letters will be in capital. Okay. Now you are interested to find out what is the length of the string, and you will be knowing that okay. I mean, what is the total length of the string? You can see it here. It is 12. You may be thinking, oh, where it is. Oh, I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 only, right? But the spaces also will be counted as a character. So that's why these two spaces together, it will become 12. Okay. And then we already know what is the type of it, right? I'm just let me simply do that print type. You can see it is a string. Now this one, the index position of that. Just now we have learned it, right? Now x is the variable dot index. Your method is just calling that x the x dot index of L. So what is that L? L is available here, the first one, right? When you look at the index L, you know now you have to recollect. Your the first one is 0, the space is 1, and then L is the space 2. So that means what is the value it will return? The index position is 2. So it should return the value of 2, right? You are getting it here, right? That's why, and again and again I'm repeating it here. So again, go back to the basics, that slide which I explained to you, this one, and it will be very clear. For once you are very clear, you'll be able to answer to this. Okay. Okay. So now let's quickly perform the other operations with that. Okay. So now the same x variable. Let us say now the fifth index position. What is the letter available? Okay. Where is the fifth index position? Again, you need to go back to this slide. If you see it here, I mean, in x of 5, what is x of 5? Right? 5 is nothing but e it has to return. That's what you are now getting it here. Right? So it is returning 5. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Now I'm just print 0:4. Again, I'm just saying it here. The first one is included. Okay, that first, that this index position value, whatever is available, that is included, and what the value at this index position will not be included, that is excluded. Okay, again I'm stressing it here. Whatever it is coming after colon, that will be always excluded. Whatever is there before one, it will be included. Okay, so that you remember it always. So now that what we'll be getting, so the fourth question is excluded. Okay, then what is that value you'll be getting, right? So now simply go back here, then you will know that. I mean 0 comma 4, sorry, 0:4, right? So what is 0? 0 is here, right? And then 4 is here, right? So 0 and 4, that means the fourth one is excluded. That means I space LO should return. So you can just see it here whether it is written in I space LO, right? So that's how we'll be seeing it here. So now let's quickly go to the next one. So like that, we can now just print 4 comma 8. I'm just printing them. You will be getting VE space I. Okay, I'll just explain it here. Similarly, you can just try 4 comma 13. Okay, let me try it here. It is India. So let's try go back and then check it whether it is right or wrong. You can see it here now 4:8. 4 is here and 8 is here, right? So 4 is included and 8 is excluded. That means only this one only I'll be able to see. So what is that? VE space I. That's what you are getting the result here, right? Are you getting? The similar way, you can just the next one 4:13. But if you see it here, we have only up to 11. That means even if we give a index position beyond the value that is given, and still Python accepts that. But if you look at other programming languages, it will show that it is out of index value. That's what it will return, but Python doesn't return any error message. It will allow you to do. So it's to demonstrate that only I just given it here 13. You know 13, there is nothing is available, but still Python accepts that. Whatever is available to that extent, it will show it to you. Okay, now we are 4:13. So 4 is here, we all know that is included. 13 means it is beyond this also available. That means from here to the end, everything will be considered. That means VE space India is included. Are you getting it here? Okay. And there are no spaces after that. Please note that it is not that it will introduce some spaces. No. Whatever is available in that string, that will only will be considered. Okay. So now let's quickly get into the next one. So now, if you see it here, I'm just having x minus 3. Minus 3, as I said here, it will be start from the end. When you come from the end, minus means from the end, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. That's what it means. Minus 1, this is minus 1, this is minus 2, and then this is minus 3, right? So now let's see what is the value it returns. Okay, let me just copy this and then just check. It should return the value D, right? Because here you are not coming in the, when you are coming in the reverse order, it is minus 1, minus 2, not 0, minus 1, minus 2. That you remember that. Okay, since it is minus 1 and it means nothing but it is the starting value, the colon is not specified. So it is meaning that that is included, right? So that means the first question of it, though it is not specified after colon, so it is included. That is the understanding you should have. Okay. So now next, I'm just giving this example. Let's understand, and then we'll go. Print X. So now here, if you see, I'm just print 2 colon minus 2. So what does it mean, 2 colon minus 2? I mean, the index position 0, 1, 2. That means it's L. Okay. And then minus 2 is from the reverse itself. So in between that value, you need to get it. Okay. So that's what we are actually doing it here now. Okay. So let's quickly do that. So it will be, so because in 2 position L is there, and then minus 2 is I is excluded. That's why you come to D, you'll be getting it here. Are you getting it here? So that's how it will be done. So now same way you can just try out minus 4 colon minus 2. Okay. So what does it mean, minus 4 and minus 2? Let's just try that now. You see it here, it is ND. Okay. Let's go to that and then try to see that. Okay. Minus 4 is here. Okay. Minus 2 is here. So between these two, as we know that the first value is included, that is where n is coming up. Minus 2, it is excluded. That's because that's why you will not find I here. So that means n and d is considered, right? I hope you are able to now handle the different types only just by understanding this basic principle. Okay. And again, I'm repeating, the index means the from the beginning and from left to right, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. From left right to left, it is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So that is the basic thing you need to understand. So it will be answer most of them. Okay. Now let's complete the remaining part of it as well. Okay. So now here there is an interesting thing, right? So now what I'm doing is print. I'm not specifying any starting value. You see, I'm just empty colon 5. I'm just giving it here. So what does it mean? Okay, it can by default means you can take it from 0. It is means, and then where you need to end at 5, index position 5. You need to end. So that is the meaning of that. Okay. So now if you look at the value ILOVE, that means it starts from the beginning and index position 5. Index position 5, what is available? E is available. Okay, so E will not be taken. So I space LOVE, that's what you'll find it. Okay, so now the next one. The same way, there is a possibility that you will have a start value, but there is no end value. See it here 5 colon, but I'm not having an end value to that. That means it start from that and then the remaining things completely it will be printed. So that means in 5 question what is available, E is available, right? E is available in 5 question. So from E onwards whatever is there it should print. So you can just see it here, E space India is printed here. Okay, I hope you are able to understand what it means. And then there is the last one which is very interesting also. Suppose if you are just giving print X double colon minus 1. Okay, please note it here. It is not minus 1 directly. It is double colon minus 1. So when you say double colon minus 1, it means that you are instructing uh, to print this text in a reverse order. Okay, so let us try this one now and see. You see it here, I mean that AIDNI and EVOL and I. There is nothing but it is in a reverse order. I, LOVE and INDIA, India. That's what you are seeing it here, right? So that means you are able to put the strings also in the reverse order. Okay, these are all the things which you can do. Because this is called, whatever we have done, it is called slicing of the string. So I mean, though the given string is such a big one, and whatever you need it for your requirement, you'll be able to slice it the way you want, and also you can put it in the reverse order. Also, you'll be able to do. Okay, so this is the different ways of slicing it. And again, I just want to mention again that you use that is the common sense approach, right? The moment you have a set of words, you are interested only. I just want it from the beginning to the end, or I just want in the middle of something, or the starting to the middle of something, or from the in between the I mean middle to towards the end of it. So the different combinations I'll be having it here. Maybe from the first letter, maybe from the reverse side, the specific letter onwards. So like that we'll have different combinations, right? Now all this combination we tried it and demonstrated it, right? So you just use your thing, okay? And you will find some more ways of doing this exercise in the other data types as well, okay? Now let's, I hope we are able to follow how to work with the string data types so far, right? Now, quickly let's learn about the comments in Python. Okay, again I'm just repeating it here. Whatever you have done it here, you can always do. Okay, file, save as, you can, I mean save as, just you put it here and you choose the folder of your choice. For example, I'm just having a D drive and then I just go to my Python learning folder, right? And then I will give the file name saying that working with string. Okay, okay, learning string. For example, I'm just putting the file name and it will be .py extension, it will be getting saved. You just save that one. Okay, so like that you'll be able to do. Okay, so now what I'll do again, I just close this and then now open up the new thing. Okay, so now let me go here. Once again, just open the Python IDE. Okay, I'm just keeping it here. Okay, now next what we are learning is about the comments, right? So comments in Python, I mean, it is again similar to other languages as well. And you might be those who already work with HTML or Java, JavaScript, C, C++, any of this. So you will be writing comments, right? Okay. So why do we write comments? So comments are normally we use it for ensuring, I mean, for giving more clarity about the code, what we are writing it here, right? So let's quickly go through what is that we do it in Python, and also what are the best practices you need to follow for the comments, because a good programmer is one who writes a detailed comments, and so that in his absence, the someone who is going through the code, he should be able to understand by going through the comments. Okay, so that's where I mean you need to write as much comments as possible so that people will be understanding your code better. Okay, so we will just go through that what it means. Okay, so in Python, the comments are used to include explanatory notes within the code. Okay, So let me put it in the slideshow mode so that it will be visible better. Okay. Okay, in Python, the comments are used to include explanatory notes within the code, and they are ignored by the Python interpreter, okay, and do not affect the program's execution. Just the comments are written, but they are not executed, okay, in the runtime. And then the comments improve the code readability and help developers to understand the purpose of specific part of the code. So that is where the comments are used. Okay. In Python, we have two types of comments. One is single line comments and multi-line comments. Okay. So how to write single line comments and multi-line comments? I'll just show you with an example. And before that, let's quickly understand what are the best practices that you need to follow for comments, and use the comments sparingly to explain why the code is existing and not what it does. The code itself should be clear enough for the what. Okay, so you need to just only see why you are writing that code, because most of the people what they will write is the entire comment they write it what the code is not required. Why this particular code you are writing, that is what is mainly mentioned in the code, sorry, in comments. Okay, and also people used to write comments, but if they make any changes to the code and then the related similar, I mean the change accordingly, the comments also need to be updated. So otherwise, if you make some change in the code, but your comments are not reflecting the change what you have done, then it will be confusing for the new developers. Okay, so that's where you need to update the comments if the code changes to the prevent outdated or misleading comments. Okay, and similarly, use meaningful commands to clarify complex logic or assumption, especially whenever you are writing a complex logics, okay, or conditions, whatever it is. So in that case, you please write the comments in such a meaningful way so that it will be easy to understand that. Okay. So let's go with a simple try to understand what is single line comment and multi-line comment here. Okay. The single line comment, if you look at it here, I mean, we all know that, right? X equal to 10. That's what I'm just writing it here. And then I'm saying print X. Okay. Here, if you see it here, the single line comments always begins with hash or nothing but the pound key. You'll be seeing it here, right? And so whatever follows after that, it will be considered as comment. It's a very simple thing in Python, right? You just put an hash in front of it, and that will take care of this is a single line comment. Okay, and even all, for example, I just written x equal to 10. After that also, I can just include the hash comment thing, and here it will say assigning value of 10 to the variable x. That's what the comment you are writing it here. Here also this comment will be ignored. Okay, it will not be executed. Okay, and same way printing the value of x like this, you are explaining that, and the comment is given here. And similarly, if you look at a multi-line comment, so I mean I have multiple lines here. Okay, so each line also in front of it I just put the hash or the pound key so that you'll be able to, I mean these lines will be ignored for the compilation, are ignored during the execution. Okay, and my single quote or multi-line is simply are putting it here, I mean the ASCII only. Okay, so now again x equal to 10, y equal to 20, print x plus y. That's what I'm just doing it here. Okay, this is how you will be doing multi-line comments. But here in other languages, you might be seeing that I'll be able to use. I mean, the beginning I can just have a opening comment tag, and then at the closing comment tag I can do. I'll do that part of it here. In Python, what normally you'll be doing is you'll be just every line you'll be just putting the comment. Okay, but if you don't want to do this one, there is an alternative also in Python. That is nothing but using docstring. Okay, so what is a docstring? We'll just quickly go through that. Okay, so the docstring is nothing but you are just using a triple quote. As you know, in Python, you can use single quote or double quote, right? So either you can use single three, but you need to use triple single quote or triple double quote. You need to use that indicates that this is a multi-line text. Okay, and at the end again you close the triple quote. Okay, that's what the simple thing you need to do. So we use for multi-line comment, though they are typically used for documentation strings. Okay, so that's why typically done. But when not used as doc string, they can act as comments also. Okay, so that's why it is being used here. And this is one way of doing it. Same x equal to 10, y equal to 20, and print x plus y. Okay, and then here include the variables inside the comments. Okay, so now for example, x equal to 10 I have, y equal to 20 I have value of z equal to x plus y. Okay, so now I just want to include this variable outcome, whatever it is coming, that is also inside my comment. So how do I do that one? So for that, what you need to do when you are printing it, you just include f in front of that. Okay, and then you open the comment. The sum of x plus y is, okay, x plus y is, okay. Here you have to, within the flower bracket, you need to give Z, that is nothing but its variable name. Any variable name, you put it inside the flower bracket and then you close the comment. That means when you are putting inside the flower bracket, it is means that it is a variable that you are picking it up here. So that it will not print your flower bracket, it will the variable value it will print. Okay. So we will see how it is work with the same examples. We'll just try it now. Okay. So now quickly let me go take you through this. So let me copy this and go to Python ideally and just writing it here. See, the moment I put hash, it is a single line command. This is the text what I copied, it automatically understands and it puts in red color. Okay, and then now x equal to 10 and this next line I'm just copying it here. Okay, right? And now I'm just saying the entire thing, I'm just again copying it here. And now print x. Now it should what it do? It should print 10. That's what it is doing it here. So you see it here, all the things whatever is written inside the comment are not printed. Alright, that means it ignores it. Okay. And similar way, multi-line comment we'll just quickly see. As I said, in multi-line, every line, this is one way of doing it. I mean, every line you'll be adding the pound key or the hash key, hashtag. You can see it here. I'm just doing it here now. Okay, and now I'm just putting x equal to 10, y equal to 10, sorry, y equal to 20, and now I'm just printing it here. So now if you see it here, the whatever is inside the comment tag, so those things are not being printed, only the x plus y value is only printed here. Okay, okay. So now let's go through the doc string part of it. I mean, for example, this is the document string, right? So I can just directly copy that and then put it here. So that means it understand that this is the multi-line comment using triple comment. Okay. So now I'm just putting the same values here. Sorry, I need to just let me copy it here. Okay, it is showing it, for example, I just given an enter, it is showing that this is a multi-line comment and using triple quotes and it won't be executed. So that's what the comment it is showing it here itself. Okay, and this is available as it is. And now I'm just putting it here. X equal to 10. Y equal to 20 and print x plus y, right? That's all. So that's how we'll be able to do it here. Now the last one is how to include the variables inside the comments. Okay, so that example we'll see. For example, we already have x equal to 10, y equal to 20. Okay, So now what I can do is just simply put z equal to x plus y. I just take that one, right? So z equal to x plus y. Now I just need to print this one. Okay, so now what I'll do, since I'm just using the z inside the flower bracket, that is nothing but it's the variable value whatever I'm getting. That means here I should be getting 30, not flower bracket z flower bracket, right? When I'm putting in the comment, you can just see it here that the variable value is 1. See, but the entire thing is inside the comment only. Okay, that's how you can make use of the variables inside your comments. Okay, I hope you are able to follow till now. Okay, and I need to give you some couple of things. Before that, let's do a small comparison also. Again, let's go back to the chat GPT. Okay, and you just, I mean, because since you are, I mean, those who are already knowing some programming language, you can just find out the difference here. What I'm just doing it here, I just go to chat GPT and I'm trying to give the this below prompt. What is that? Compare comments in Python, Java, or C, or HTML in a tabular form. I'm just giving it here. I'm just going here. I'm just simply writing it here now. Okay, let's see how does it compare it. You see it here. In Python, you will be hashing it. So you'll be using a hashtag, right? Or the pound key. You are using it here. In case of Java, you see you are using two backward slashes. You are just using it here, right? And here you are in C also. The Java and C is the same thing. And HTML, there is nothing like a single line command. You'll be for both a single line or multi-line. You'll be using the say common tag only. But you see it here in case of Python, the multi-line you see, you'll be using either triple quote, triple single quote, or triple double quote. You'll be using it here. Whatever the example you see in. But whereas in Java, what you'll be doing, you'll be using backward and then star. You are using it here again star. I mean again backward. That's what you are using it here, right? This is how you'll be putting a multi-line text in Java. And you see C also follows the same thing. In HTML, you see, I mean there are less than symbol and the exclamatory mark and dash tag, and from there to ending the two dashes and the greater than symbol. So that is the ending of multiple line part of it, right? So if you see it here, in every programming language, it will be using the comments, but the syntax, whatever it is you following, it will be different. And those who are even working with PLSQL in any of the databases, it can be Oracle or MySQL. So there also you'll be using the comments. Okay. So again, the same approach will be followed. So what is the syntax being followed? Single line comment or multiple line comment? Like that, you can just use your curiosity to learn more about that. Okay. And you can just go through some more details and you will all in ChatGPT itself. Okay. Right. So before we conclude the module 2, there are a few things I just need to tell you, okay, about the variables. You know, variables names, we are creating it, okay. So whenever we are creating the variable names, we need to make sure that the variable names are meaningful, okay. And then the variable names, it should be following a specific pattern. For example, the variable names that is called as you'll be mainly following it up as a lower camel case. Okay, so what is that lower camel case? I'll just show it to you now. One minute. See, for example, if you see it here, the first name we are given it here. So what we are doing, the first letter is shown in small letter, and the next letter word is shown in capital letter, but there is no space in between that. Okay, we call this as lower camel case. Okay, because it's like a camel, in the camel, that the bump thing will be there, right? So similar to that, this is the capital letter will show that. That's why it is called lower camel case. Okay, and I mean, why I'm stressing on this particular part is that if you follow one approach, and no matter whatever the programming language you follow, you will be easily able to adjust to it. Otherwise, people will follow different approaches for different programming languages, which is not required. Okay, here again, you can just simply go to ChatGPT. What are the best practices for defining a variable name in Python or any language? You can specify it here. I'm just quickly doing it for you. Okay, I mean, best, what is it? List the best practices for for defining variable names in Python. Okay, so you can just see it here. The answers you'll be getting it here now. So it is clearly says use descriptive and meaningful names like age. It means very clear. Age means okay, you are talking about age 25. If you simply put x equal to 25, it doesn't give you a clear meaning. What is that you are referring? It is not very clear. Okay, so that's why you need to have a meaningful, and that variable itself should talk about that. Okay, and then it is called as two ways of declaring the convention. Like this is called a snake case, like camel case, which I explained. The snake case naming convention, for example, underscore name, this is also possible. But it's people who are familiar with Java, they will be following lower camel case. So that's why to bring in uniformity, you can just have a common one so that you can have a capital N, there is no underscore is required also. Okay, so that can be also done. Okay, and then there are certain keywords will be there. So okay, so those keywords you should not be using it as a variable name. Okay, so some of the keywords like return, def, if, these are all the specific keywords you'll be understanding as you move further on the feature modules. Okay, so those keywords you should not be using it as a variable name. Okay, and then you are not supposed to use the variable name starting with a number. Okay, like for the example given here, one value, count, like this, count equal to can give, but underscore temp. So like that must be begin with a letter or an underscore, but not a number. That's what it is saying here. Okay, and then I mean, you avoid using single underscore for regular variables. It is also not being suggested. Okay, no, don't have to use that. Okay, and also try to make it as concise so that it will not get confused. For example, total sales is given here, and suppose that will be giving more meaningful. But if it is a ts equal to 1000, so nobody can understand what you try to say by ts. Okay, so that's why you need to be, it should, the variable name should speak about it. That's why again and again I'm repeating it here. Okay, and also, so if it is plural names or collections are there, then you can go with plurals. For example, fruits, vegetables, and if you are collecting getting into the list and all, so you need to go with the plural name. Okay, and then wherever the constants are there, fixed values are there, so those type of areas you can just use the uppercase so that it will be understandable. Okay, and then you are not supposed to use double underscore this one, because these things will be extra. For example, double underscore init, double underscore this. These are all very commonly used. Special methods will be used. Don't worry about all these things. You'll be learning them in the few cases. Okay, and also avoid mixing cases. For example, snake case or the camel case. Okay, so try to avoid that, because what it means is that you follow one standard way of doing it, either a snake case or the camel case. You can just follow that. The Pascal case is nothing but the first letter is capital and also second word also capital. Capital case, you can see it here. The first one is small and the second letter is capital. Okay. And also that should be, they give that variable name, very context specific names, you can just give it here. Okay. And also use prefixes or suffixes for specific context. So you can, I mean, like this, you can just go through and you follow the same thing across your code, entire code, so that anybody can understand your specific pattern. Okay. I mean, a good programmer will make or follow a very good disciplined approach of programming, so that across all the code, I mean whatever the code base is using it, it will be reflect the way the programmer has done the work. Okay, so that's why I'm just stressing more about it. Okay, you can follow these best practices. Okay, and this is common for all other languages. There's I mean, I need not have to repeat it every time. Okay. Okay, so with this, just quickly summarize, I just would like to summarize that. I mean, in this module, we learnt about what are the different, I mean, what do you mean by variable and what are the different data types. And in that, we specifically covered about the, I mean, string and the number part of it, and then various operations that we performed with the string. Okay, so including the slicing of the string and also the reversal of the string, all those things we learned about that, right? And then we learned about how to work with comments. Okay, so single line comment or multi-line comment, right? So all these things we have done later. Okay. So, and also we learned how to save the file in whatever you are practicing it in ideally part. Okay. I mean, before we conclude on module 2, here is a simple quote from Albert Einstein. If you cannot explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Right? A very simple and powerful quotation. Okay. So you need to able to explain whatever you are learning, especially your Python programming, whatever you are learning. If you are able to explain what is a Python programming to a 6-year-old kid, that means you are thoroughly understood the subject. Okay, so that's how. Just go to the basics very strong, and then I'm very sure that you'll be able to learn it better, and then face any kind of interviews, and you can apply that skills in your day-to-day work. Okay. So with this, we will conclude on the module 2. Okay, let's catch up again in module 3. Until then, bye everyone. Thank you.